The room was cold and gray. All around Commander, the Galactic Council sat in their seats, waiting for him to speak. Was tall and hard. His body was made of crystal and metal. His eyes were sharp and intelligent. He looked down at the humans before him with anger and hate. Captain Cross stood with his hands open at his sides. Next to him was Dr. Lisa. She wore the clothes of a human from Earth. She looked tired. Her eyes showed pain and sadness. But she stood straight and did not cry. Laughed, the sound was loud and cruel. It hit the walls of the room and came back again and again. The other council members began to laugh with him. "These things," said, pointing at Lisa. "These are the humans, look at them, their skin is soft. Their bones break if you press them hard enough. They leak red water when they are cut. They cry when they feel pain. They sleep for 1/3 of their lives. They need food and water every day or they die." He walked around the room slowly. All the council members watched him, the with their long wings folded against their backs, the with their ancient gray skin, the with their many arms and thinking minds. "I have fought the humans," continued. "I have seen their soldiers fall. They scream when my weapons burn their skin. They beg for their lives. They call out for people who are already dead. They are weak. They are broken. They are nothing." Felt anger rise in his chest. His hands became fists, but Lisa put her hand on his arm. She shook her head once. "Not now," she said without words. Described the human colonies on the hard planets. He told the council about the humans who died every day from poisons in the air. He told them about the storms that could kill in minutes. He told them about creatures that hunted humans like hunters in the night. "And still they go there," said with wonder. "Still they build homes, still they try to farm, still they have bobbies knowing the bobbies might die. This is not courage, this is stupidity. This is what happens when a species does not understand what it means to be alive." The council laughed louder now. Even the ancient, who had lived for 10,000 years, agreed with, "Why would anyone value these soft, weak creatures? Why would anyone think they could survive in a galaxy that was hard and cold and full of hunger?" Lisa stood up. The room became quiet. Everyone looked at her small body and her tired face. "You speak of our weakness," she said. Her voice was soft but clear. "But you have never lived among us. You have never felt what we feel. You see pain and you think it is the same as weakness. But pain is not weakness. Pain is knowledge. Pain tells us what can hurt us. Pain teaches us to be stronger." Turned to look at her. His crystal face showed no feeling. "Go on," he said. "You see that we die," Lisa continued. "And you think we are nothing. But every human who dies teaches the next human how to live better. Every mistake we make teaches us something new. Every loss we feel makes us hold what we love more tight. You do not understand us because you do not understand that strength is not about power. It is about will. It is about never stopping even when everything inside you wants to stop." "Pretty words," said, "but words do not stop weapons. Words do not stop hunger. Words do not stop death." "No," Lisa agreed, "but they teach us to survive it. They teach us to help each other. They teach us to look at a world that wants to kill us and say we will not be killed. We will live. We will grow. We will build something better than we had before." The council said nothing. Some looked at each other. Some looked away. The head of the council, an old named, stood up. "This is a waste of time," he said. "Commander has shown us the facts. Humans are weak. They are not ready for the galaxy. We should not waste resources on them." One by one, the council voted. Not one hand was raised to help the humans. Not one voice spoke for them. After the council meeting was over, stayed in the chamber. He stood alone and thought about the humans. He thought about Lisa and her soft words. He thought about what she had said about pain and will. Something inside him wanted to know if she was right. Something inside him wanted to visit the human colonies himself. Something inside him wanted to see if humans were truly as weak as he believed, or if there was something he did not understand. That night made a choice. He would go to Prime. He would watch the humans suffer on that hard world. He would see how quickly they broke. He would return to the council with proof that Lisa was wrong. Humans were weak. Humans were nothing. Humans would be erased from the galaxy soon enough. What did not know was that on Prime there was a girl. She was only 12 years old. Her name was Sophie Hayes. She had never left that hard world. She had never known a world that was easy or soft. Her body was hard from the gravity that was too strong. Her mind was hard from the suffering she saw every day. Her will was hard because her father had died protecting her home, and that was the only lesson she needed to learn about living. Sophie was eating dinner with her mother when the message came through on the radio. The commander was coming. He was coming to see if humans were weak. He was coming to decide if Prime should be taken over by the Empire. Sophie looked at her mother. Hayes had strong eyes. She had lived through loss and pain and sorrow. She was thin from hard work. She was burned from the toxic sun, but she was still standing. "Listen to me," said to Sophie. "That commander believes we are weak. He will try to prove it with cruelty, but I will teach you something. Strength is not about not feeling pain. Strength is about feeling pain and walking forward anyway. Strength is about losing everything and deciding to build it again. That is what we do here on Prime. That is what humans do everywhere. And that is what that commander will never understand." The sky of Prime was red, not the red of sunrise. It was the red of fire and iron mixed into the clouds. When Commander stepped out of his ship, he felt the gravity push down on his body. It was heavy. It was wrong. Even the planet itself seemed to hate him. Soldiers came down with him. They wore armor thick enough to protect from radiation. The air itself was poison. Nothing grew here without protection. Nothing lived here without fighting for every breath. Sophie watched from far away. She stood on a rock that was black and sharp. She was small, but her eyes were very bright. She did not smile. She did not wave. She only watched and waited. Governor came to meet. He wore clothes that were old and torn. His face was burned by the sun. His hands were rough from work, but he was the leader here, and he knew how to be polite even to people who wanted to hurt him. "Welcome to Prime," said. "We are glad you have come to see how we live." "I am not here to be welcomed," answered. "I am here to understand why humans choose to suffer. I am here to watch you fail." Demanded a tour, showed him the settlement, houses made of metal and stone, gardens where food grew under plastic sheets, water processors that turned toxic ground water into something humans could drink. Everything here was a fight, everything was struggle. "You see," said, "every moment here is pain. You are not strong, you are just too stupid to die." But as walked through the settlement, something happened that he did not expect. The humans did not look like they were suffering. Yes, they were tired. Yes, they were marked by the hard work, but their faces showed something else. They showed purpose. They showed connection to each other. They showed something that could not name. Sophie followed them. She stayed far enough away that would not notice. But she watched. She watched how he looked at the work. She watched how he judged everything. She watched how he hated what he saw because it was not weak in the way he thought weakness should be. On the first day, demanded a strength test. He wanted to see humans fail at heavy tasks. A man named David carried weights across the toxic flats. The gravity was heavy. The ground burned his feet even through his boots. His muscles burned. Sweat poured down his face. David moved the weights. He was slow. He was in pain, but he did it. He did it again and again until the sun started to go down. Watched with no emotion. "A child could do this without effort," he said. "Yes," agreed. "But a child was not born here. A child does not carry the memory of this world in every bone of his body. David has done this work for 10 years. 10 years of gravity that should crush him. 10 years of poison in the air. 10 years of loss and struggle. And he still comes out and does it again." Did not answer, but something moved behind his crystal eyes. Something that looked like the beginning of a question. On the second day, wanted to see the dangerous places. He wanted to see where humans died most often. Took him to the Crystal Canyon. It was beautiful and terrible. The rocks were sharp enough to cut through armor. The air was so toxic that even suit took damage. The path was narrow. One wrong step meant falling into darkness. "Humans come here?" asked. "Every day," said. "We mine the crystals. We need them for equipment. The work pays enough that families can eat. The work is dangerous. Many die here, but the work must be done." Sophie appeared then. She was climbing the canyon wall with her hands and feet. Her suit was old and had holes in it. Her skin showed through in places. The toxic air touched her directly. Her face was marked by burns, but she was smiling. Sophie called out, "Come down from there. It is not safe." "Everything here is not safe," Sophie said. She dropped down to the ground with a sound like breaking stone. Her legs bent to take the impact. Most humans would have broken their bones. Sophie was fine. Looked at this girl. She was small. She was burned. She was marked by the planet itself, and her eyes were bright. "What is your name?" asked. "Sophie Hayes," she said. "I was born here. This is my world. I am not afraid of it because I know how to live with it." "You are young to be in this canyon," said. "I am old enough to know that fear is something you can push past," Sophie answered. "My father died here when I was 10. He was trying to save people who were trapped by a rock slide. He could have run away, but he did not. He stayed and he helped, and the rock fell on him and he died. Now I come here and I do the work so that his death meant something, so that people can eat because my father helped keep them safe. Had no answer to this. He had expected to see humans breaking. He had expected to see pain and crying and weakness, but what he saw was something different. He saw purpose. He saw strength that came not from muscles or crystals or technology. He saw strength that came from inside, from will, from love. That knight stood alone in his command center. He recorded a message to send back to the Empire, but he did not send it. Instead, he erased it. He decided that one day was not enough. He would stay longer. He would watch more. He would try to understand this strength that humans had, this strength that came from pain. On the third day, something changed, made an announcement. He was shutting down the human settlement. All humans would be removed. All resources would be taken. Prime would become a mining colony. The humans would be transported to other worlds or left behind. The announcement came fast. The soldiers came with weapons. Families were pulled apart. People screamed for loved ones as they were loaded onto ships. Hayes fought when they tried to take Sophie. She held her daughter close, but soldiers were stronger. Sophie was ripped away, fell to the ground. And Sophie ran. She ran into the canyon. She ran toward the places where no one else would follow. She ran to where only someone born on Prime could survive. And behind her, moving with speed that surprised everyone, Commander followed. He wanted to know if a little human girl could beat him. He wanted to see her break. He wanted to prove that all humans were weak. Sophie ran into the dark. The canyon swallowed her. The rocks were black and sharp. The air burned. Her suit was ripped and torn. She felt the poison of Prime eat at her skin, but she did not stop. She had played in this canyon since she was 5 years old. She knew where the paths were. She knew which rocks were solid and which would break if you stepped on them. She knew where the caves hid. She knew how to move through a place that killed anything that did not belong. Behind her followed. His armor was heavy, his suit was strong, but he did not know the canyon. Every step he took he had to think about, every movement had to be careful. He was powerful, but power meant nothing in a place like this. Sophie climbed higher, her hands bled, the rocks cut her. The air burned her throat, but she kept moving. She had learned a long time ago that pain was a teacher, not a master. Her mother had told her this. Her father had shown her this by dying so that others could live. Climbed behind her. He was faster than a human. His body was stronger, but Sophie had something he did not have. She had knowledge. She had years of living with Prime. She had the memory of every step written into her muscles and bones. The canyon grew narrower. The walls came closer together. The path was so thin that only one person could walk on it at a time. His armor started to get caught on the rocks. He had to stop and turn and twist to get through. Sophie moved like the wind. She was small. Her armor was torn, but she fit through spaces that could not fit through. She moved over rocks that had to go around. Every second, the gap between them grew bigger. Felt something he had never felt before. He felt doubt. He felt the beginning of fear. "Stop," he commanded. His voice was strong and loud, but the canyon swallowed his words. Sophie did not stop. She was thinking about her father. She was thinking about her mother. She was thinking about all the people in the settlement who would die if this commander proved that humans were weak. The canyon opened up suddenly. They reached a peak. The world spread out below them was dead and red and burning. The sun was setting. Shadows stretched across the ground like dead hands. Sophie reached a cave. It was dark and deep. The air inside was different. It was cleaner. It was a place where humans could almost breathe without dying. She went inside. She sat down against the cold stone. Her suit was destroyed. Her skin was burned. Her blood was on the rocks. She was breathing hard, but she was alive. Came through the cave entrance minutes later. He was damaged. His armor had pieces missing. His suit was torn. His crystal exoskeleton showed through the cracks, but he was alive too. He stood there, looking at Sophie, looking at this small girl who had just proven something that he did not want to believe. "Why did you run?" asked. Sophie looked up at him with eyes that showed pain and strength mixed together. "Because if I did not run, you would kill everyone I love," she said. "My mother, David, everyone in the settlement. You would kill them all and tell yourself that it was because they were weak. But the truth is that you are afraid of us." "Afraid," said the word like it was poison. "I am afraid of nothing." "Yes, you are," Sophie said. Her voice was clear and did not shake. You are afraid because we do not fit into what you believe about the universe. You believe that strength comes from power. You believe that the strong survive and the weak die. But we are strong in a way that your power cannot break. We are strong because we love. We are strong because we will not stop. We are strong because we are willing to die for someone else. Felt something break inside him. Not his body, not his armor, something inside his mind, something in the way he understood the world. He sat down across from Sophie. For the first time in his life, an alien commander sat in front of a human girl and had no words to say. When my father died, Sophie continued, he was trying to save people he did not know very well. He was a soldier. His job was to protect. But he loved his job more than he loved his own life. That is something your people do not understand. That is something that your power can never fight against. Listened, he heard the truth in her words. He had come to Prime to prove that humans were weak. But he had found something else. He had found that weakness and strength were not what he thought they were. I came here to see you break, he said slowly. I came here to watch you fail. I am breaking, Sophie said, looking at her burns and her bleeding hands. I am failing right now, but I am still here, I am still moving, I am still thinking about tomorrow. That is the difference between us and your people. We do not stop when things break. We do not stop when things fail. We do not stop when things hurt. We stop when we decide to stop. And I have not decided to stop. Outside the cave, the sun was going down. The red sky was turning to black. Stars were coming out. Stars that looked down on Prime and the two beings sitting in the cave. One hard and crystal and sure about the rules of the universe. One small and soft and sure about something deeper than rules. Suit was dying. He had maybe an hour of air left. He could have left. He could have gone back down the canyon and gotten help, but he did not move. He sat and he listened to Sophie talk about her father, about her mother, about the people in the settlement who died every year so that humans could live on Prime. He listened to her talk about pain and loss and will. He listened to her talk about what it meant to be human. And in the darkness of that cave, something happened to Commander. He began to understand, not with his mind, but with something deeper, with the part of himself that had been locked away, with the part of himself that felt. The girl had not broken, the girl had not failed, the girl had done something that could not do. She had suffered and survived and moved forward anyway, and she had done it with love in her heart. That was the moment he knew that he had been wrong about everything, and that he while sat in the cave with Sophie, something was happening in the settlement below. Hayes had not stayed on the ground crying. She had gotten up. She had gathered the other humans. She had moved fast. The soldiers had expected that the evacuation would take days. They had expected that humans would move slowly. They had expected that humans would cry and beg and make the work difficult. But they had not counted on what happens when you tell humans that your leader is in danger. Moved through the settlement like a ghost. She collected people who knew weapons. She collected people who knew explosives. She collected people who knew the land. In 1 hour, she had formed a plan. The plan was simple. They could not beat the soldiers in a direct fight. Technology was too advanced. Bodies were too strong. But humans did not need to win in a direct fight. Humans knew how to win in ways that did not match the strength of their enemy. They struck at the transport ships first. 2 ships were destroyed. The soldiers on them had nowhere to go. They had to retreat. They hit the communications center next. The soldiers could not call for help. They were cut off from the rest of the forces. They used explosives on the power plant. Suddenly the lights went dark. Suddenly the weapons could not fire with full power. Suddenly the armor became heavy and slow. The soldiers tried to respond, but they were facing something they had never expected. They were facing an enemy that they had underestimated, an enemy that was weak in body but strong in mind, an enemy that would not surrender. The fighting lasted 3 hours. 17 humans died, 42 soldiers died, and slowly the forces began to break. They began to fall back. They began to realize that they had lost. By the time came down from the canyon with Sophie, it was over. The settlement was free. The humans had won. But did not feel happy about this. He felt something much worse. He felt shame. He walked through the settlement with Sophie at his side. The humans looked at him with eyes that were angry and sad and strong. They did not attack him, but they did not welcome him either. Governor stood at the entrance to the settlement. His face showed what it meant to have fought and lost and fought again. Commander said, "You have underestimated my people. You have caused us pain. You have tried to take our home. What do you have to say?" He looked at the humans around him. He looked at Sophie, whose skin was burned and whose blood was still wet on her clothes. "I have been wrong," said. The words sounded strange in his mouth. He had never said them before. "I came here to prove that humans were weak. I came here to prove that your species deserved to be erased from the galaxy. I was wrong." "Yes," Hayes said. She came forward. "You were wrong, and people died because you were wrong, people who did not need to die." Lowered his head, not in the way that leaders lower their heads to show respect for strength, but in the way that someone lowers their head when they know they have caused pain and cannot take it back. "I will tell the Empire what I have learned," said. "I will tell them that humanity is strong. I will tell them that we have made a mistake in our judgment. I will tell them that they must never underestimate your people again." "Will they listen?" asked. "I do not know," said, "but they will listen to me, because I am the one who came here and was beaten by a girl who is not even grown yet." The humans did not laugh. They had learned long ago that pain and laughter sometimes come from the same place. Sophie stood beside. She looked at this tall creature made of crystal and armor. She looked at his damaged suit. She looked at his crystal eyes that now held something that had not been there before. She saw that was not evil. He was just wrong, and being wrong was a kind of pain too. "Will you help us?" Sophie asked him. Turned to look at her. "Help you how?" "Tell the galaxy," Sophie said. "Tell them that there is a world called Prime. Tell them that it is hard. Tell them that it is cruel. Tell them that it kills almost everything that comes here. But tell them that because of this, we humans who live here are not soft. We are not weak. We are strong in ways that even we do not understand yet. Tell them that pain is not the same as weakness. Tell them that suffering teaches us. Tell them that love is stronger than power." Nodded, he made his choice then. He made the choice that would change everything. "I will tell them," he said. "And I will ask for a place on your council, a human place, a voice that speaks for you in the Galactic Council, because I owe you a debt, and the only way I can begin to repay it is to make sure that the galaxy knows the truth about who you are." Over the next 3 months, worked with the humans. He taught them about technology. He taught them about other species. He taught them about the dangers that were coming, and the humans taught him things that no one had ever taught him before. They taught him about love. They taught him about forgiveness. They taught him about the difference between power and strength. They taught him that a girl could make a commander kneel, not by breaking him, but by teaching him. When finally left Prime, he carried a message from the humans. It was written by Sophie Hayes. It was short and simple. It said, "We are not weak. We are not soft. We are not broken. We are human. And that is something that the galaxy must learn to respect." The Galactic Council chamber was full of silence, not the comfortable silence of agreement. The silence that comes before a storm, before something that cannot be stopped. Commander walked into the chamber. He was alone. His armor was damaged. His suit was patched. His crystal exoskeleton showed cracks that had not been there before. He looked like he had been broken and put back together by hands that were not careful. The council members leaned forward. Something was different about. His head was held differently. His eyes looked different. His whole being had changed. "I have returned from Prime," said. His voice was quiet, not weak, but different, changed. "I returned because I had to tell you what I found." The old leader sat forward. "Did you confirm that humans are weak?" "No," said. "I did not confirm that. I found the opposite. I found that everything I believed about humans was wrong." The council erupted in noise. Hands were raised. Voices were shouting. How could say this? How could he contradict his own earlier words? How could a commander of his rank admit that he had been completely wrong? Waited for the noise to die down. He waited for the council to be quiet again. Then he told them the story. He told them about Sophie. He told them about a girl who was 12 years old and who could survive in a place that would kill most creatures in minutes. He told them about how she ran through a canyon and how he followed her. He told them about sitting in a cave and listening to her teach him about what it meant to be human. He told them about the settlement. He told them about how the humans had fought back and won even though they were outnumbered, and he told them about Hayes, a mother who fought like a soldier to protect her daughter. He told them about the humans who died so that others could live. "I came here to tell you that humans are weak," said. "But I was wrong. Humans are strong in a way that our weapons cannot break. They are strong in a way that our technology cannot defeat. They are strong because they love. They are strong because they will not give up. They are strong because they can suffer and survive and move forward anyway." was angry now. "You are a traitor," he said. "You have been infected with human propaganda. You have lost your mind." "No," said, "I have found my mind. For the first time I am thinking clearly. And what I see is this: we have made a terrible mistake. We have underestimated humanity. And we have made an enemy of a species that will remind us again and again what it means to have real strength." Lisa stood. She had been quiet until now. She had been listening. She had been remembering her words to weeks before. And now she saw that he had finally understood them. "Commander is telling you the truth," Lisa said. "My people are not weak. We are strong. Not in ways that you understand, but in ways that matter more. We are strong because we are alive. We are strong because we will not surrender. We are strong because we choose to live and love and build even when the universe tries to break us." "You have no place here," said. "Then we will make a place," Lisa said. "Because my people have learned something that your species has forgotten. We have learned that the universe does not belong to the strong alone. It belongs to those who can adapt. It belongs to those who can learn. It belongs to those who will not give up." Raised his hand. "I am making a formal request," he said. "I am asking that the Galactic Council grant humans a seat on this council. I am asking that they be recognized as a full and equal member of the galactic community. And I am asking that any military action against humans be forbidden, because if you attack humans, you will lose, and you will deserve to lose." Some council members stood and walked out. They did not want to hear this, but others stayed. Some of the younger council members, some of the ones who had never fought in a galactic war, some of the ones who still believed that the universe could change. Over the next 6 months, things shifted. Not all at once, not without resistance. But slowly the galaxy began to understand what it understood. Humans were not a weak species. They were a dangerous species, not because of their weapons, but because of what they would do for each other, because of what they would sacrifice, because of what they would endure. Human ambassadors began to appear on other worlds. Human colonies began to grow. Humans began to take their place among the stars. And on Prime, Sophie Hayes worked in the Crystal Canyon. She was older now, not much older, but older. Her skin was still burned. Her hands were still, but her eyes were bright with purpose. She received a message one day. It was from, it said, "Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for breaking me. Thank you for showing me that strength means something different than what I thought. I will spend the rest of my life making sure that the galaxy understands this." Sophie smiled when she read those words. She thought about her father. She thought about all the humans who had died so that others could live. She thought about the work that was still to be done. She climbed the canyon wall. She moved through the toxic air. She survived Prime, and she was not doing it for herself. She was doing it so that humans could live, so that the galaxy would understand. So that one day, pain would not be a sign of weakness, it would be a sign of strength. In the chamber of the Galactic Council, sat in his new seat. A seat that represented humanity. A seat that represented pain and will and love and survival. And every time he sat there, he remembered a girl in a canyon on a world that killed everything that could not learn to survive. He remembered that Sophie had not beaten him. He had beaten himself. He had beaten himself by believing something that was not true. And now he was spending his life telling the galaxy the truth. The universe is large, it is hard, it is full of danger, but it is not strong alone. It is strong when species can work together. It is strong when the weak and the powerful can sit together and learn from each other. It is strong when pain is respected as a teacher. It is strong when love is stronger than weapons. And it all started with one commander laughing at human pain, and one girl who made him kneel. The end. Held that message in his hands as his ship rose into the red sky of Prime, and he knew that everything was about to change. He'd have to pay a price for his mistake. What he did not know was that he was about to learn what human will really meant. Sophie nodded. She was too young to know what was coming. She was too young to know that she would have to prove these words with her own body and her own blood. But she was old enough to listen, and she was old enough to remember. 3 days later, Commander arrived.